Serious redditors who need to vent. What's wrong? I think I have below normal intelligence. I frick up at work too much. I just feel like I have a learning disability, but I don't know how to prove it. It's also hard for me to talk to people. I have the hardest time articulating my words and I can't string together cohesive sentences. I've gotten to the point that I'm always quiet. I feel so stupid every day. I found out the girl I was gonna marry is moving to LA to pursue a career modeling, while I spent the last 2 years mourning our relationship by drinking alcohol and playing Overwatch. I want to be happy for her, but I don't know how. I want to be happy with myself, but I don't know how. Thanks for letting me vent. I don't really have anyone to talk to about it. I'm tired all the time. I'm stressed constantly. I'm having trouble keeping up with everything. I wake up angry for no reason. I keep wanting desperately to go hang out with my best friend and her friends, and every time I do, all I want to do is go home and hide. As soon as I do, I just want to go be with my friends again. It's almost as if I'm lonely as frick, but I just can't be around people, even when I want to be. I'm starting to snap at people. I never do this. I hate my current job and I have no choice but to keep going to that stupid place for at least another couple of months. Things are getting worse, and I don't know how to deal with it. I'm terrified to talk to someone about it, but I know that if I don't, it's just gonna get worse and worse until something snaps, and I'm scared as to what it's going to be. I'm sick of always working, sick of anxiety, sick of depression, sick of having enough of Asperger's syndrome to frick with attempted relationships and my head in general, sick of blastocystis, similar to IBS. I just want to ride my freaking bike, but I guess it's too much to ask. Just had a huge fight with my husband that resulted in him smashing both of the kids' laptops, gifts from family, and the modem. I probably patronized him more than I should have, but I'm so angry that he thought it was okay to do that. Now I have no computers, no modem and no money to replace the stupid things. Oh, and no husband cause I kicked him out. So on top of all that stress and dealing with extremely upset children, I'm worried has taken our car to go and wrap it around a tree somewhere. Nope. Rant over, and I still feel like crap. In a foreign country. Food here sucks and I have no friends or my guitars. I'm in pain. In a scale of 1 to 10, it would be 5. I have a knot over my sciatica, and it radiates all the way up to my right kidney. I recently learned how to stretch my hips, and it helped a lot. I haven't had time to do the stretches, and now I want to cry. Earlier this year my dog died. He had to be put down because of arthritis in his spine, and he couldn't walk anymore. He was 14 and everyone tells me he lived a long good life. That doesn't, nor did it ever, make me feel better, considering I hadn't been able to see him at all in the last 3 years since I had to move, and the only place I could afford wasn't allowing pets. I raised that doofus from when he was a puppy, and I grew up a good distance away from any of my friends, so he was like a little brother and my best friend growing up. I recently had a dream about him since he passed, and it made me realize I never got to say goodbye to him. Even when I moved, I was so sure I could see him again, and now I never will. I loved him, and I had to let him go, and will never see my best friend and little brother again, and never even got to say goodbye. Maximum, I love you, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you when you were in pain and scared with a new family. I'm sorry I made you anxious about having to find a new home and start with a family again without me. I will always miss you, Maximum, and I will never love another dog as much as you. Why do people always think there's something wrong or think I'm sad all the time? I just don't feel like smiling. When I smile you can barely see it, but that doesn't mean I'm sad. Literally, I had a teacher who kept me in the classroom after each lesson for about a month in total because she thought I had depression and was sad all the time, or if there was something going on at home. No, I'm just not smiling. That doesn't mean I'm sad. Insomnia. I'm doing my best to reply to everyone. You all deserve some light hope, but there are so many. Just know, no matter how alone you feel, even if I can't reply to you, that there is at least one person out there that cares and sincerely hopes you make it. Edit. It's nearly 6 AM, and I have almost 100 replies in my inbox. I care deeply for all of you, and I wish I had enough time and energy to give every single one of you the advice or encouragement you need. But I'm running on almost no sleep and have a dreadful day planned. I'll keep replying because everyone needs a supportive friend sometimes until I pass out. Edit number 2. It's been one crazy hectic day, but coming back and reading through this thread, seeing all the wonderful things people are saying to one another, it's really heartwarming. I also want to thank the 2 anonymous redditors who gave me gold. I appreciate it. I didn't post this thread or this question for recognition. In one of my replies I mentioned that making other people feel better makes me feel better, which is true. My thought when posting this was, I wish someone would tell me it's okay, tell me I'm a good person. I bet other people need to hear that too. I have over 1,000 post replies, and even if it takes a year, I'll do my best to reply to everyone. I hope. If you need to talk, everyone is always welcome to message me. I was also told about a subreddit r/nameless friends, and I really like the idea and message of that sub, so I'll be there a lot too. Thank you, everyone, for being beautiful and showing me there is a gentle, caring, and playful side of humanity. With my own personal struggles, I almost forgot that. I submitted a group case study for class yesterday that I personally spent 10-12 hours over the past week on, not including the time the other 3 people spent on it. I didn't have the time to check anyone else's calculations. Usually I like to do all the calculations on my own, if only so that I'm confident on knowing how to do them in the future, and turns out that every single calculation that I didn't do was wrong. Stressed the frick out with university work. Have no one to talk to with and just simply suck/don't know how to manage my time and energy. To make things worse, I don't know where my life is going, and I'm just studying for the sake of studying with no ambitions or goals. Everything is a mess. Just all of it. I do my best to rebuild my life, but stuff just keeps happening. Stuff beyond my control just keeps freaking happening. On August 17th I started a project at home. On the 18th I got sick and spent 2 days coughing until it was so bad I had to go to UC because I couldn't breathe. Twice, I was finally sent home with strong antibiotics, 2 inhalers, and needing to do nebulizer treatment daily. It took a week to recover, and since I literally couldn't breathe I couldn't finish my project. On the 24th, just as I was starting to get better and feel better, I was uninvited from living in my childhood home because I didn't finish the project I was too sick to work on. Since I can't stay in the area, I had to drop all my classes that I had to fight for because my college didn't want to accept my FAFSA grant. I had to drop them and scramble to find a place to live. This, all the while dealing with my ex. He was furious that I moved on and decided to love someone again. He kept threatening to take my daughter and to sue me for Lord knows what. I soldier on, though. I have to. He flip-flops back and forth between wanting to be a father than telling me he wants nothing to do with her. Then, when I tell him I'm moving, he tries to file ex parte to take my daughter from me. I'm already broken now, just tired of everything happening all at once, and none of it within my control. Then, out of nowhere, he mellows out. He becomes agreeable, even amicable. He agrees to the new custody arrangements. He stops trying to fight my move. I mean, I still have to move, but it's not so bad. I managed to find work where I'll be moving. 2 jobs in about an hour of looking. 2 years where I'm now, and I've only gotten 2 interviews. Then, yesterday, my father's widow called CPS on me, and they showed up yesterday. She's trying to take my daughter from me, and I don't know why. There's nothing to gain, but she's trying, and I'm just so broken and so freaking tired. I need a vacation from being an adult. I need a weekend to myself where I can scream and cry all I want. My friends have been amazing through all of this, and I'll keep trudging forward, but I wish it wasn't this way. I wish so hard that I didn't have to fight, that things just went smoothly. I wish so freaking bad. I love my job, but hate the company. Now it makes me hate my job. It's what I worked for many years. This is the thing where I can say, look, everyone, I made it. I proved all of you wrong. I persevered and took the longer path, because this is what I really want to do in my life, but yet I want to give up and try another path. I have really bad ADHD and depression. When I lost my insurance, I could no longer afford my meds. I went through really bad withdrawals. I have no motivation. So here I'm just struggling. I've applied for Medicaid, I don't qualify. I don't know how to get out of bed most says, let alone the steps I need to take to get insurance. My boyfriend's cancer is so hard. I hate it. But what I hate more is all the advice. I just want everyone to frick off and stop telling me what I should or should not be doing, feeling, letting him do, etc. I feel so under the microscope and it's beyond frustrating. We've done literally hundreds of hours of research and know more about it than most doctors, let alone random coworker or relative. That op is a good motherfucking person. I'm a part-time waiter as I'm a student. The restaurant where I work has 2 owners and 4 managers. The managers always joke about me being lazy, although they know I work very hard. The owners started overhearing these jokes and they take it seriously, giving me less shifts to work. That sucks. I just turned 35. I've been back in school, part-time, for a year, trying to earn a mechanical engineering degree. I work my ass to understand the material and have done well in the limited number of classes I've had so far. Until this freaking Calc 3 class. Good god. The teacher's lectures are completely worthless. So going to class is a goddamn waste of time. He barely covers any of the material he is supposed to, and wastes time on tangents, and deriving pointless crap. So I have to spend 2-3 hours a day watching videos on how to just understand the material. But I can't miss class, because we are all apparently 5 years old and attendance is mandatory. Half the class just dropped. After failing his first test, I got a 77 and that was one of the top grades. Our TA gave us another Calc 3 teacher's test as a worksheet the day after RUD test, and the other teacher's was 2/3 as long, and way easier. Perhaps the thing that is annoying me the most is that Calc 3 is the most tedious, fricking, formulaic bullcrap math I've ever had to endure. Take the derivative of this thing 17 times, then the cross product of this freaking thing, then take the derivative of that freaking thing, then integrate this freaking thing, and what do we have? The length of some curve through space nobody gives a freaking crap about. God damn it. And oh, but we want that length function reparameterized with respect to a different worthless variable. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually miss Calc 2nd at this point. Last night I had a nightmare about math, and that I went bald. Been single for over 8 years, and within the last year my friends and I sorta drifted apart. Some weeks the feeling of not being wanted is brutal. Other weeks not having someone to share good news with or to be held. Always been an introvert with okay social skills. But now I sorta feel like I'm losing part of myself, since I haven't been me around anyone in so long. I'm doing a group project, and 2 members in the group hate me. It's pretty evident. I'm stuck cooperating with people that don't like me, and I'm the kind of person who would reciprocate any negative feelings. So there's an unspoken tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. I just hope I'm mature enough to keep it together for 1 more month. Just 1 more month and I can stop giving a frick about those shats. My girlfriend of 8 months broke up with me last night. I heard. I never knew what it felt like to be heartbroken. I'll explain it for those of you that don't know. Imagine no physical pain, but your insides hurt. More than just a stomachache or a headache. For those of you who are struggling with depression, you know what I'm talking about. You are drained when the day just began. Your eyes hurt from the lack of sleep you know you need, but no matter how hard you tried you couldn't actually fall asleep. I've been depressed before but this is different. This is more of just being sad than feeling nothing. I think I would prefer to just be depressed. At least I know I can talk myself out of depression. I wouldn't want to wish heartbreak upon my worst enemy. I hope you guys and girls of Reddit have a better day than I'm going to. Probably going to spend the quiet moments at work looking at some memes and trying to laugh my way out of sadness. Have a good day everyone. Found out my job is basically just scapegoat and stress. Really annoying that I get blamed for everything but they pay for college, insurance, and $20 an hour, so I shouldn't be complaining. God I hate my job. I have now realized the underlying issue of my negativity. Crappy diet. I've been feeling so well eating clean, staying active, having a wicked social life, that my mental health was doing well. FYI, I don't have mental health issues. I just eat lousy, and especially after losing 10 lbs. I'll get back on the ball. I trusted this guy for 4 years now. I'm 33. He will go on and date a 22-year-old and pretend to the world he's so successful and happy, but he's not. I feel dried up, ugly and gross. My house is so dirty, and I feel like I have severe depression and I don't know how to pick myself back up. I just moved to a new city 3.5 hours from my family for a job, and I'm really lonely, anxious, and homesick. I feel like I'm trapped here forever. The job isn't bad, but the distance from familiar people/places has really screwed with my anxiety. This is my first job out of college. I'm in a specialty field, and there's not a lot of job postings in my home state/city, and the ones that are there are kinda spread by word of mouth. I worry I'll never get to go home. Some days are better than others, with the homesickness yesterday and today have been bad. On top of it all, I feel really stupid for feeling homesick like this at age 26. If I don't find another job, the one I have is going to put me in a box. Also, I can't sleep because my roomie drank too much at D&D and now I have to listen to him vomit. I'm having a BPD episode. Minor, but still. I've got mommy issues, and I won't be able to get closure. So I'm not exactly sure what to do with the rage, or how to just let it go. I can let other crap go, but I can't let this go. I try, but my rage still burns hotter than 1,000 suns. And since it's an emotional trigger, everything she's ever done just comes up to the surface. I freaking hate her. If she wants forgiveness, then she probably should have taught me how to do that. But instead she taught me that humans can't be trusted, and people will tell you whatever they need to get what they want. Parents will gladly sacrifice their children, and even when you do what you were trained to do, you will be punished for it. So like, what do you do with impotent rage that demands a blood sacrifice? People going through visa processes, not researching anything, expecting everyone else to help them, freaking everything up, causing huge delays for everything else as they are just wasting everyone else's time. Goddamn, if you're going to commit to marry someone, spend a bit of time and commit yourself to understanding them. Think process first. Thanks for listening. I'm miserable and I don't know what I'm doing with my life. To my friends and family I seem perfectly content, but on the inside I feel like I'm dead. Nothing excites me, and I feel so alone. Cute animals make me feel better sometimes though, but nothing ever lasts. Been feeling really incompetent, depressed, flustered etc. I'm diagnosed epileptics and my seizures are impacting me in the following areas. Recently had a grand mal seize, typically puts me in a fog, slows me down mentally and physically, usually passes within several days. Just feeling extra lonely more than normal with this most recent event. I'm pregnant. I've developed insomnia. I'm starting to get a cold, and on top of it all I'm getting emotional over thinking about some dark stuff in my life. Trying to stay positive is so difficult, but I know I have to keep myself calm so that the emotional stress isn't hard on the baby and me. Just got out of a 1.5-year relationship. Ex-GF won't talk to me. I was prepared to marry her, and now it's all gone. I just feel like I wasted the last year and a half of my life. My children are the sickest they have ever been in their lives thanks to being introduced to the petri dish that is school. They have in turn infected the whole house with that plague. This is now the 3rd time in 2 months. I work a high stress job with a high burnout rate that is not particularly equitably compensated. And my air is broken, and it's 90+ degrees all week, with sick everyone. I just want to sleep, but that's not an option here with sick but loud school-aged children and a sick baby who won't sleep and sweating to death. And I still have work to look forward to when their other parent is finally home and maybe not sick. A big frick everything. I'm 35. In a low-paying, soul-destroying job in a field I don't want to be in. So is unemployed. So we really need me to be working. I would quit yesterday, except I work for a small family-run company, and if I leave the company will close. Which besides the financial loss to them, it will also piss off most of my family. Trying to find a new career at this age is rather tricky, especially since my skill set has become too damn limited because of my current field. My depression and anxiety have gotten severe over the last year. I've tried killing myself twice and will probably fail out of college this semester because I keep driving to school but am too scared to get out of my car. Classes started 4 weeks ago and I haven't attended a single class despite driving an hour to school every day. My options are basically dropping out of school and trying to pay off $50k in debt with zero skills, or trying to off myself again and do a better job this time. I'm relapsing from anorexia after almost 3 months of maintaining a healthy weight. I've lost 5 pounds already, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it put me from the thin but healthy BMI category right back into the underweight one. I don't know what to do. It's killing my boyfriend to see my slip back into my old habits, and my mom literally begs me to eat enough every day. Sometimes she cries. This crap just hurts so bad, but I can't stop it. This is gonna take a while, so here goes in particular order. I'm sick of being pushed to do stuff I don't know and being told not to do the stuff I do know at my job. My parents trying to guilt me into forgiving them, which is trying to guilt me into having a headache, having weapons grade ADHD, sitting on a dwindling medication supply, and being unable to call my doc because he might be angry about me missing my last appointment. My mother has made it clear on several occasions that she cares more about my autistic brother than me, but I'm the one she expects to do everything. I hate my job, but I'm stuck here because I need insurance and rent money. Waking up has been a struggle lately, and I don't have enough money to go back to school with all of the student loans I've already piled up. I want to help my parents pay off their mortgage so they can retire, since they are getting to that age. But I'm on disability and even paying half of what I get into the mortgage account feels like I'm pissing into the wind. It feels awful as a kid that failed to live up to potential expectations. Unfair to say, I know. I didn't ask to not be able to work. And while I'm not a burden per se, I wish I could do more. I hope we don't lose the house when they legitimately get too old to work. Honestly, I gave that fricker the easiest job. Write a freaking 3-sentence script for choir recruitment and say it in announcements. He didn't even freaking bother, so I spent only just 5 minutes writing one, and then I would go and do it. Also, some people are so freaking rude. I organized a choir quiz for recruitment and this one damn kid keeps asking for a freaking chocolate when he already had one. He does one single freaking thing, and he thinks he then deserves two. I organized this whole freaking advertisement campaign. I was the one who presented the report to student council. I was the one who had to communicate with the teachers for quiz questions and posters. I was the one who had to do the announcement script cause one lazy fricker couldn't spend 5 minutes of his life to doing something he said he would do. I was the one who had to design and write the pamphlets. I was the one who had to make my freaking family spend $20 on a Hershey's box. I was the one who had to carry the desk and chairs. I was the one who had to do every single damn thing and I didn't eat even one freaking chocolate. So what in the frickin' world makes you think you can spend 30 freaking minutes verbally pissing out of your crappy mouth for a freaking chocolate while you're stopping other freaking people who didn't do the freaking quiz, who could be future choir singers that could stop the whole goddamn choir group from getting freaking liquidated? Jesus frick. I'm sorry I woke up at 5:30 and I'm tired as frick. I was in an activity I loved, and it was my safe place. I nervously invited 2 friends to join me. I talked with them about how I was concerned they would try to take over everything I did. They promised about 5 separate times over the course of the year that they weren't looking for leadership positions and would never do that to me. Guess what they did? Freaking shocker. Secretly applied for the positions I wanted, made meetings so I couldn't attend, and relentlessly bullied and tried to act like I was useless, despite the vast more amount of experience that I had. Then when I brought up the canvas, they completely gaslighted it. I quit. They're super thrilled I introduced them to this activity. It's now what they spend all their time. Have a group of best friends, etc. And these 2 people who I used to consider best friends and I no longer talk. Every single time I see them in the hallway, it's like a stab in the chest. But I think I was better off without them. As a result, I no longer trust people and I'm super paranoid. If I could record everything that was said to me each day, I would. Frick you. It took me way too long to quit. I should have left when I wasn't allowed to take a pic with the trophy. Our first award in 10 years that I presented alone because everyone else had excuses to judges for over an hour to win. If you want more details, PM me. I'd love to run some more. Thank you. There are just way too many choices in my life right now. I kinda wish someone would just tell me what to do. So freaking tired every day. I need to start being productive, especially since I'm going to have very strong adult responsibilities thrown onto me soon to help the family financially and make a living. I really need to work on making that resume and look for a job. I wrote out a long reply just now only to delete it. I just feel so unheard about so many things and like no one cares. I'm sick of being unhappy and lonely. A few months back I had a massive puppy love crush on a girl, but things went south incredibly quick when she tried to destroy the life of her best friend, including trying to get her to fail out of university and convincing her boyfriend to cheat on her. In my defense, I had no clue she was a sociopath before. This girl still thinks I'm infatuated with her, even though I very clearly stated several times that is not the case and never will be. I'm extremely conflicted and angry about the situation. On one side, I loved a person which I spent months with, who I somehow managed to completely misunderstand/judge. After she started dating her best friend's now ex, she basically 180'd as a person and went from being really sweet and kind to a freaking monster. So I'm also very relieved that I dodged that bullet. I don't feel comfortable expressing my anger because most of our social circle doesn't fully grasp what this girl did to her friend. So I'm afraid that if I were to vent on it, it'd just come off as some jealous incel rant. The thing that really infuriates me is that her best friend is still her best friend. She acknowledges that what she did was awful and was clinically depressed for months after this went down. But crazy girl has actually convinced her that she was to blame for her boyfriend cheating on her, and that if she was a better friend, the girl wouldn't feel the need to try and ruin her life. The girl has even admitted to me that she intentionally destabilizes her friend and triggers her anxiety at critical times to ensure that the friend will never be better or happier than her, and yet the friend is just like, yeah, she's like that sometimes. It's honestly pure insanity and the clearest example of an abusive relationship I've ever seen. I feel obligated to keep the memory of how crappy this person really is alive, because otherwise she'll go right back to being agreeable and nice. But that's just a facade until she sees something else that she believes she deserves. It's slowly eating me up though, and since her best friend has opted to just pretend like it's okay, it somehow doesn't feel justified to be angry on someone else's behalf. I'm so incredibly angry that people like this exist, that they feed off and degrade vulnerable but decent people, and that I wasn't smart enough to see this person for who they really were before everything blew up. I have a very good feeling for people and I want to help wherever I can. So I wanted to be a social worker. I applied for college, and at least half of the classes were utter bullcrap. Like how to do research, as in here are 2 years worth of classes of how to do research, but it isn't actually enough for you to conduct any real research, but you still have to pass these 2 years worth of classes, kind of bullcrap. I failed over half of my exams first time around, and had to repeat the year, which was a huge blow for me, who never even failed a subject, much less an entire year. I tried a second time, but just going to school every day to listen to lectures I've already listened to, sitting to people 1 year younger than me, that was all too much, and after a small breakdown I stopped going to classes. During the first exam season, I could only pass one of the exams I signed up for, and it was essentially a freebie. After quite a bit of therapy, I decided to drop out. I will lose my student status at the end of the month, which means my parents will have to start paying my insurance, and my high school diploma is worth about as much as toilet paper on the job market. So if I want job, I need a college education, for which my parents again, would have to pay for. We don't have a lot of money to begin with, which is an extra blow. I don't know I just want to stay at home and rot away into nothing, so my parents don't even have to pay for my funeral. If push comes to shove and they kick me out, I guess I could get a job as a hotel maid or something until I figure something out. This has all been in the making for almost 2 years now, and while I don't have to deal with the mental pressure of college right now, it's hitting me real hard.